Hello YouTube. If you are new to my channel, you may be tempted to think I'm indulging in character assassination. I have no time for this. It does not expose more truth or meaningful debate. Right or wrong, I think America is not a real democracy in practice. America appears daily, more and more, to be a corporate oligarchy. Indeed, we need a movement that threatens the establishment. Sorry, y'all, but the Tea Party ain't it. With that said, let's move forward. Enters Mr. Duke. I do not know if Mr. Duke has severed all former ties to the KKK. This indeed may be part of his past, or he may be a covert operative in the organization. He has some very strong views regarding Jews, blacks, and Mexicans. Now, I will say, criticizing black people, Jewish people, or Mexican individuals, or religious, political, or racial organizations, which they are members of, that are actively engaging in nefarious, abject, or hateful behavior is not, repeat, is not anti-Semitic or racist. There will always be some group that secretly and maliciously desires and works towards controlling global politics and its resources. So, if, and I say if Duke has verifiable evidence which is condemning, that information should not be ejected because of the messenger. This does not mean he should not be carefully scrutinized for his use of this factual information as he progresses in his agenda. Now, most Tea Party supporters I have engaged with believe that America has the right to preserve its heritage, language, and culture. Do we support this by eliminating mass immigration? Illegal immigration should not occur. This I agree with. Nor do I think America should have an open-door policy for immigrants when we, as a country, whether via government, private affiliations, or by individual efforts, suck royally at helping legitimate American citizens who are suffering. Suffering not due to laziness, mind you, but to falling on hard times, which they are having a difficult time recovering from. I will go so far to say that it appears America has a sadistic streak and likes to create situations that work against the poor and the working poor of this country. Now, it is my understanding that the vast majority of Tea Party activists oppose affirmative action and diversity, that they see these programs as racist discrimination against white people. I will not comment in depth on these two because I want to do a future video breaking them down and looking deeply at them. I will say it's easy to entertain why members of the Tea Party, who I believe disproportionately come from the white middle class and from the Bible Belt and South, align themselves, the Tea Party, align themselves as not being beneficiaries of what they think is race privilege. They see themselves as victims of a kind of class and maybe even cultural underprivilege. Telling them any different normally gets the libertarian deaf ear. Oh, bad me, I should not have said that. But I did. I think you get the picture, however. This is a lava bed of a topic. David has a way of inflaming the subject matter, and by the time you are done with his videos or writings, whether he is right or wrong, you feel that whites are the official victims of America. Everyone else, that's code for minorities, no matter how hard-working, law-abiding, or patriotic, is just a fluke of nature and not representative of a large sector of the group they belong to. Mr. Duke does make a critical mistake. He states that pro-white organizations are mistreated and are not treated the same as pro-black organizations. Now, there may be truth to this. The NAACP is not an angel of an organization, let me tell you. However, he sidesteps the fact that even if the NAACP is a farce, it still approaches the American public as a group that wants to sincerely help minorities. Most pro-white groups come across as militant and anti-everyone else on the planet. So now enters the Tea Party. I do not know if the Tea Party is excited to have Mr. Duke's support or not, but the Tea Party seems to approach the agenda of preserving its heritage, language, and culture with the same appeal a white nationalist would. However, I am not sure the Tea Party is wide enough for Duke. While you think about that, ask yourself, can we learn anything about the Tea Party by looking at the people who agree with it? You will have crazies in every movement. So eliminate the yahoos and potential screwballs when doing this mental exercise. I say, let's look at the general makeup of the party. Does it surprise anyone that a supposedly former white supremacist endorses this movement? I will go on a limb and say, it appears the Tea Party is a part of the racism is dead except for reverse racism crowd. For the sake of fairness, I will state the endorsement of a group by one person does not ensure that particular group holds the endorser's ideas. It should make you question this group, however, and said endorsement should not be less irritating or troubling. So what did I learn from attending those Tea Party meetings, you may ask? They are not all right-wing, religious, gun-loving nutcases. Despite some obvious and very real racist behavior, there are some really good people within that are heavily troubled about our state of affairs. However, most I have communicated with on YouTube come across as unwilling to work through ideological differences via an objective and rational exchange of ideas. They seem to love their schoolyard taunts and fail to realize their use of invective is pathetically lacking in effectiveness. They will not admit to the influence of the Koch brothers' private agenda. Their enemy of choice is the liberal and a government that is too big, a government that taxes them far too much and that offers too many services to those poor people, which many say causes all the problems. They preach about a constitutionally correct government, eliminating the national debt and creating jobs. These are great things, but I wonder if they care more about lining the pockets of fellow conservatives than the average Joe. There is definitely a dichotomy between those in real time and online. This makes me ponder if the ones in real time are self-editing to project a more approachable image or if they are sincere. From what I have seen, online or not, the Tea Party is a political group that actively attracts whites. It appears to welcome minorities, so it is not crucified in the media for being what it is, inherently racially separatist. Mr. Duke should feel right at home. Now, for Mr. Stuck-on-Stupid Rick Perry. It appears he leased a hunting camp that had a stone which had the word niggerhead inscribed on it. This supposedly came with the property. Now, there are several narratives that are provided regarding how long it took for it to be removed. It appears that it took a lot longer than what it should have taken for a public figure who is supposedly a servant of the people. I am sure the blacks in Texas love that this occurred. The lease or ownership of this property was from his private citizen years until becoming Texas governor, as far as what I know to be true. Things that make you go, what the fuck? Now, some will say this is not evident of Rick Perry's beliefs. This may be true, but if anything, it shows poor taste, inconsiderate movement, and political stupidity, attributes no one should want in a public servant. Now, in my opinion, he is a right-wing prick. Try saying that 10 times fast. Who, like Duke, though they have political aspirations, want to ignore the American population breakdown and cater not to all Americans, but solely to white people. His politics definitely has a narrative of its own. That is, minorities did not put me in office, and I can give a shit about you. Now, say what you want, YouTube, but you cannot dismiss that the allowance of this stone says something about this man. Now, it may not say that he is a supremacist or racist towards black people, or it might, or it may say something that is not so clearly defined. If I purchased a piece of property and it had a sign or stone that was inscribed with the likes of Cracker Pastures, Guido's Mecca, or Peckerwood Paradise, you can be damn skippy. I would eliminate it. If my budget did not allow for it to be removed immediately, I would personally deface it so it could not be read any longer. Why? Because I do not think racial slurs are appropriate no matter what group it is directed towards. I guarantee you that Rick the Slick Perry fan base will not care one iota about this story. Now, before some clever person pulls the race card, let me stop you. This is not about him being white. This is about Perry, in my opinion, being obtuse and being brazenly devoid of wisdom. Thanks for listening.